Good afternoon, everybody. Friday, 3:07 p.m., 1 hour left to go in trading, and we got markets right now at record highs. You just had the S&Ps. As I was on the air for the 3 o'clock update, 67.21 on the futures. All-time highs were up by 0.4% or 23 points in the green, and the S&Ps, 67.17. NASDAQ 100. Pretty similar action. We just made a high. As I was talking at 3 o'clock there, we're up by 0.5%, 120 points higher, 24,838. The Dow up by 0.3%, not quite at the highs we were at on Thursday, 46,661. There's 3 sixes in there for those paying attention to the S&P, 666. S&P highs approaching 6660 in the cash. Nonetheless, Russell backing off from the highs we had yesterday afternoon. The Russell only index in the red by 18 points or almost 0.8% in the red. Bitcoin, a little bit of negative action, down about $2,300 or almost 2% right now, trading at 115,470. How about crude? From Tuesday at 64.76, coming into the weekend at 62.41, down 1.3% on the session. And the ever-important yields, as we're sitting at 4.14% on the 10-year, and the dollar with some strength. And boy, gold. You gotta love the action in gold, because check it out, right? The dollar, Monday, the dollar's at 97.40. We're at 97.64 right now. You jump over to gold, and gold, you're pushing the highs almost of the week. Yeah, you got a spike high at 37.44. At one point, you were at 37.30 to 37.40 on Tuesday. We're trading at 37.17, folks. We're a solid $57 off the lows of yesterday. And even this morning, when I was on the air, talking about a move, Fridays, 37.17. Gold up by 1.1%. Silver right now up by 3%. Up more than $1, up $1.26. You jump over to Hecla, up by 2.5%. First Majestic, up by 6.8%. And as I mentioned on the update there, XAU up by 4.7%, HUI 4.3%. And for those trading those daily leveraged vehicles, Nugget Directions Daily on the gold, how about it? 10.7. Yes, daily leveraged Nugget, 10.7 in a day. I mean, how about this run? From 34 to 140. And yes, they're a sponsor, folks, but boy, they got some great products regardless. And to bring this up, is it going to give me the description right here? No. I should know it by heart, but it's the Daily Gold Miners Index Bull 2 times. And the inverse of that one, yeah, and there it is, it did. Direction Daily Gold Miners Index Bull 2 times shares. This fund seeks to track 2 times the daily performance of the ARCA Gold Miners Index, NYSE. And then, for you gold bears out there, and listen, you know, gold's had quite a run. You might get a pullback. Doesn't mean you got to be a bear. Because, boy, you talk about, on the flip side of that, dust, the inverse, of course. All right, we jump around to some of the movers today. Apple shares get an upgrade. And strong iPhone sales in Asia, up 3.3%. You take a look at the daily. Look at the volume. We're going to get volume, man. We're doing it. We're breaking above anything we've had. We even have more volume than we're going to have at the lows. In terms of, it is a large volume day, almost going back to where you broke out from the beginning of August. We got Apple shares right now with a full hour left to go. And it's going to be a big hour, folks, because this is options expiration as well, right? This is the third Friday of the month. We got options expiration. It's Friday. So Apple already doing 73 million shares. You're up by 3.3%. I mentioned some of the other movers. Now you got TikTok in play. We'll kick it off with that. So Trump and Xi speak this morning. U.S. and China approve a TikTok deal after the call with Xi. Chinese leader appeared to support a commercial solution. Xi and Trump are going to meet this fall at APEC. Trump said he and Xi agreed to meet at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, or APEC as it's called, in South Korea this fall. So you're going to have to wait for everything at least a little bit longer. The call was a good one. They're going to meet in person. Appreciate the TikTok approval and both look forward to meeting at APEC. Details, though? Nah, we don't got any details for you. Nonetheless, you're getting some action, and under the arrangement, a consortium of new TikTok investors and existing backers together would roughly own 80% of the entity, with ByteDance's ownership dropping to below 20% to comply with U.S. laws passed last year. So they get a small piece, and we'll see if that holds to it. The new investors, Silver Lake and Oracle, would own about half the company, while existing ones, ByteDance, would hold roughly 30%. You got Oracle trading higher on that. Gotta love it, man. Right? There's your acceleration. So TikTok coming to America, folks. And yeah, Paramount getting a run again, up about 7% right now. Jump around some others. How about Uber today? Up by 3.7% right now. Jump over to Lyft, up by 1.6%. Tesla shares catching a lift by 2% right now. NVIDIA shares flat. Microsoft up by 0.5%. Walmart trading lower by 0.7%. Yeah, the home stocks. So you had Lennar with their numbers last night. You're down by 3.5% right now. They missed the forecast. You got D.R. Horton down by 0.25% right now. And KB Homes off by 1.1% right now. It is going to be interesting to see if rates come down, how these home builders react. Because my head keeps going back and forth in terms of how many levels deep do you go, right? And I say that as in, look at the run they've had during a period of extremely high interest rates, right? Well, you could say, do you know why part of that is? Because nobody wants to sell their house, folks, when they're going to give up their mortgage, right? So they've been one of the only games in town, right? They're selling houses, they're doing it, and as rate, but, you know, part of me says, you know what? Maybe it's not going to be that easy that rates come down, because guess what? There's a lot of people that are going to get freed up that have the ability to as well. Supply could come back on the line that has not come back on the line for a while. It's one of the things to consider. I don't think it's going to be a big problem. The home builders are going to do well if we get good mortgage rates, but it is going to be a little bit of a headwind that they haven't faced for some time. There's a lot of people that have been stuck in their house with a great mortgage, and that's going to be a supply side factor. S&P's pushing highs up 26. We're coming right back.